Answer this question. When should speech on a college campus, and we'll get to the Trump question in a moment, when should speech on college campus be limited? Now, this is still going on. It's still being rehashed, and I can't believe we have to remind people of the truth and the answer regarding that. But let me see if I can do this again. When is speech? And I want everybody to stop what you're doing and answer my question. Answer my question. When is speech? We'll start with the college campus. It shouldn't be any different, but we'll start on the college campus because that's what everybody's saying. Let's say there's a group of people that are standing out there on a corner on a step and says genocide, Jews or genocide, or I don't know if anybody's ever said that. Let's assume they did. Genocide or Jews should be the victim of genocide or genocide for Jews or whatever it is. They're standing on a step and they're saying this. Okay. They're not pointing out Jews. They're not saying you, and they're not writing it on a dorm door. You know, it's not personalized. It's just kind of, generic. What should they do? Should they be expelled? Answer that question. First question. Should they be expelled for basically Jews? Okay, you got it? That's the issue. Anybody? Anybody dare? Now think about what you're saying now. They're basically, they are saying things. Okay? Understand this? They're saying. Now, should they be expelled? Yes or no? Bill Ackman wants, I think people want expelled. At least Stephanie wants people expelled. What do you think? No. Jojo says expelled. John says no. Depends upon the college policies. Well, that's no. Let's assume there are, okay, the policies say expel. So you would be for it if the policies say, yes, expel them. Or he would be against it if they said don't expel them. No, the question is, we're writing the policies. Absolutely expel them. Expel them for speech. Depends. Okay. If no violence, no. Okay. There's Bill. That's a tough one. I like that. From the river to the sea. Big signs. Big. From the river to the sea. Marching. Peaceful. Other than the speech itself, which some people could say is violent. Yes or no? No, don't expel. There used to be a soap opera called, that's great. Okay. I lured. That's why I've got to read what you're saying, because sometimes you'll say, I hate when my socks fall down. Okay, thank you. Now, yes or no? What do you think? Is this you, Mrs. McAllister? Yes. Is that you in this, holding the sign from the river to? Yeah, you're out. You're out. Your tuition, your scholarship, get out. From college. You're not hitting anybody. You're just saying this. Anybody? Sticks and stones. Very good. And I want, if you could, give me something a little bit more than no. Give me something. Give me an idea. The reasons what I want to tailor these live streams of me not speaking, and you just, because I watch sometimes live streams and I'm wondering what is the host, what is the purpose of this live stream? The guy or the gal or they are talking anyway, and people are just yammering to each other. I'm thinking, well, what is the purpose of this? It's like having a studio audience where the studio audience is watching another TV show, or you're at a concert and the audience is listening to other music. The beauty of freedom of speech, Bill writes, is to engage in conversation that is oftentimes uncomfortable, but necessary in order to understand. Yes. Very good, Bill. Very good. Apparently you have not been cerebrally challenged through your years of fisticuffs. Bill Bear says, private or public state university, who cares? Who cares? Because all universities receive some form of federal government. So there's some kind of entanglement. Two podiums, make them to know. No. If we're yes to expelling a student, then there are the limit. Then, okay. The answer is no, 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 no. That goes for saying terrible things about Jews, terrible things about gays, terrible things about whites, terrible things, terrible, terrible, terrible. I sound like Charles Barkley. You can say anything you want. Say terrible things. Because the moment you start to tell somebody, and they have this, they have these, what am I trying to say? These symposia, colloquia, the people will come forward and they'll say, you know, when, how do we say this? They will say, you know, whenever we have these, what am I trying to say? Whenever we have these events, it feels very, very, very frightening to be a Jew or a black student, and it makes me feel scared. I want you to stand by for a second. Listen carefully. Regroup. Think about this, because I want to talk about something which is even more important, if there is such a thing as more important. Something very, very, very important. Number one, you got to subscribe to this channel. But while this nonsense is going on and this tumult may or may not be revised, there's another problem. There's something which is very, very critical. And that is that this is a chance for you, those of you who are wise and investment oriented, to pay attention to this incredible word from LionelNationGold.com. Well, chances are you've seen it before. The chaos in the markets, oil and stocks. Just when you thought it was safe and interest rates were rising, new threats come out of nowhere. Tensions are boiling from Asia to Europe. Adaptation is the key here to safeguarding your wealth. You may not have considered gold before. It's not speculation, but insurance. And right now, you need some insurance. Noble Gold Investments have been protecting investors from disaster for years with precious metals. So if you're worried, it might be time to take a fresh look at gold and silver. Gold is a proven safe haven shield for your portfolio and a volatility balance against uncertainty. If it helps, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin with its new IRAs this month. If you open your Noble Gold Investments IRA or 401k rollover, you can claim your coin today. Remember, crisis brews, portfolios waver, and gold insulates. Secure yourself against the threats. So go to LionelNationGold.com. That's LionelNationGold.com, or call 877-646-5347 and tell them Lionel sent you. The only gold company I trust. Now remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. Now, my friends, it's very important for you to understand and to grasp a couple of things, which is very, very critical. And I can't believe I'm saying this again, but when people tell me, it's tough being a student or a person of color or gay or non-binary, I'm feeling hostile. I have trigger warnings, and I have trigger warnings. There's another word too, where people say, I don't want to hear about things like the Holocaust and stuff, because I want to feel safe. Life is not feeling safe. For the love of God, we let the Klan march in Skokie, Illinois. Shut up. I don't care who you are. If you don't want to go to college, go someplace else. Go home, stay in a room, in a bubble, lock the door, because the world is full of nasty places. And the best part about it is that there are people, and the folks in Palestine and Gaza would say, you're lucky. You're worried about what? You're worried about nasty words? I'm worried about getting killed. My home is gone. I live in a world you couldn't handle 5 seconds. But your little powder puff, candy cane, cotton candy, snowflake world of, try over here. I'll switch with you in a minute. Okay? And by the way, this is it's this issue. And then next time we're going to say, I don't like you talking about Trump because you don't know what it's like be going to this school because I have to hear this Trump nonsense. And Trump is hate and Trump is crazy and Trump is... I am so sick of people, a bunch of little wussies. There's a P word there, which I don't particularly care for. I never understood that connection. For the love of God, don't take away my First Amendment. Just shut up. And you can't expect me to sit there and say, you don't know what it's like. And then the next person is going to say, you don't know what it's like with me. But when I go here and you wear that American flag lapel pin, this reminds me of colonialism. And my indigenous non-binary say, oh, shut up. My God, grow a pair. Life is tough. They're just talking. Counter protest. Show them pictures of Kristallnacht. Show these idiots what the Holocaust was about. Show them what this kind of speech does. Show them. Don't just sit there and run to Elise Stefanik. And as much as I cannot stand and loathe and despise these, it's not Ivy League. Ivy League used to be terrific. I thought this is where we went. This is where we went where the greats were, B.F. Skinner and Oppenheimer and this and that. I had, these were the greats, the academics. They meant something. Oxford and Cambridge and all the, oh my God. And now they've been reduced. I don't even know what this is. It all started right around Vietnam with the, dare I say, what got really bad with Vietnam. And then before that, when you had Kim Philby and others in Cambridge, you had the spies and the communists. So listen, college campuses to an extent have always been, whatever it is. This breeding ground. But even that numbnuts from Pennsylvania is absolutely correct. You don't expel somebody because they're calling. If somebody called for apartheid back again, if somebody called up and said, yes, we are for apartheid. Yes, we are for the actual physical removal of Palestinians from, or if somebody says the removal of the Jews, whatever it is, I don't care. Say it. Why is what I'm saying so alien? When I hear some people sometimes say this, you're not going to believe this. And I say this with all due respect. I can't even write Israel in a super chat. My heart bleeds for you. You're not going to believe this. I tried to post this story about President Trump on Twitter and they wouldn't let me. Oh. I'm not even going to tell you what Mrs. L and I have been through. I'm not even going to dignify our captivity. So don't give me this nonsense about, they wouldn't let me write apartheid. Oh, shut up. But if that bothers you, what you should really be upset about is what we're seeing right now. Do you understand this? I don't give a damn whether you're offended. I don't care. I don't care. Do you know one of the reasons why, believe it or not, and I mean this, George Carlin said that he used to swim in the Hudson River with human waste. Human waste. And they had the toughest immune systems anybody's ever seen. Now that's don't take that too literally, but it's true. So that's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. Human waste. And then we played in dirt and mud and we drank from hoses and we got cut and we didn't have peanut allergies. That might be because of the GMO stuff. I don't know, but we didn't have anything. I don't remember any kids who were autistic. I don't remember any of that stuff. Oh, we had some behavior problems, but that was it. We had some kids who were like fidgety, but not people walking around, staring into space. It was a different world then. And one could argue it was because we were tougher, that we handled things better. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But we live in a world of, you know what? Get over it. Get over it. Somebody the other day, I heard this. Somebody said, well, and they weren't complaining, but somebody said, well, we got this new guy, this new boss. Boy, she doesn't know what's going on. It's terrible in our office. Oh, my heart bleeds for you. That's the story of American life. Do you know how many I have been? See, this is why, and I swear to God, I'm trying to think of what is my phrase? What is my belief? It's very simple. I hate everybody. It really is. I hate everybody. I know somebody the other day who has Israeli flags all over the place. I think it's an American flag, maybe one, but super Jew, super Israeli. I said, oh, you're like the guy who all of a sudden overnight, the Ukrainian flag everywhere. I'll bet you I could ask you 10 questions, and like Nikki Haley, you couldn't talk about prophecies. You couldn't explain anything about this. Do you know what you're talking about? Do you know what you're talking about? Let me see if I can say this in a nice way. And let me see if I can say this without being clear. Do you think, Mr. or Mrs., whatever it is, that the Palestinians are full of shit? Pardon my French. Do you think so? Do you think they're all saying, now listen, whenever anybody asks anything, you tell them that we live in this horrible world and that there's tens of thousands of us being killed and that it's apartheid and genocide and cleansing and that we live there and the Nakba. Just keep saying it, even though we know it doesn't make any sense and that we're doing this on purpose and it's our fault. Just keep Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Seriously, it's important. Do you think that? Because I think people think this. I think people think these Palestinians, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Seriously? It's like during Vietnam. Do you not understand what the Vietnamese are thinking? I don't give a damn what they're thinking. We're the United States. We're there. Screw you. Shut up and take it. We're stopping communism. We're doing you a favor. So just shut up. America, stand by your... What? You believe this? You honestly believe this? Yeah, I believe it. So what? So what's the big deal? What's your problem? What's my problem? Dear God, I've never seen anything like this. These people have no idea. I've never seen, I swear to God, and I mean it with all due respect, I've never seen anything like this. They just, to them, it's another lapel pin. And they can't answer the question. Everything is black and white for them. Everything. There's no such thing as any kind of nuance. Nothing. There's no nuance. This drives me crazy. If you think you're going to get anywhere with this and you don't understand both sides and you can't articulate both things, what? It's not a right or wrong. It's beyond anything I've ever seen. And we're going to lose our First Amendment yet again over this. If you want to say from the river to the sea, say whatever you want. If you want to say blast, run them out of town, get rid of the Palestinians, we were here first, Israel, I don't care. Say whatever you want. You don't even have to know what the hell you're talking about. Believe me when it comes to that. And while we're on this subject too, I'm sitting around with a bunch of Republicans, and I'm saying you're going to get stomped again. You're in some weird love affair with Donald Trump. I don't know what the hell this is. You're in some weird la-la land with Donald Trump. You think he's some kind of savior or something, or you love him, or I don't know what the hell you're talking about. My God. He's going to lose again. And you have no idea, because they're going to take either Gavin Newsom's going to beat him flat out, or better yet, he's just going to win, but they're going to steal it again legally. And you're sitting around here saying, hey, you're going to love this. Hey, I couldn't believe this. We're going to have a debate party. People have what? It's not a debate. And the Democrats are saying, keep it up, Republicans. We're raising our money. We don't care. They don't care about Trump. I mean, about Biden. Oh, Trump too. They don't care about Biden. Do you think any of these bastards care about Biden? They're raising money like you can't believe. They are so unified. The Republicans don't have that. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Barry Taylor, finally, the voice of reason, says, in my college days, you could say whatever you want without unwarranted criticism. Absolutely. By the way, there is, I'm not going to point anybody out because I want people to enjoy a freedom of, and I'm not, but there are some of you, one in particular, who is in such la-la land, I don't even know what to say. I would just say, make sure you don't have any sharp objects hanging around, because you were so detached from reality, it's not even funny. You don't know what it is. We talk such shite. It's easy. This is not complicated. This is not complicated. Do you understand what I am saying? I hope so. I hope so. I hope to God. This is the most important stuff in the world. And I mean it. I don't know how to say this, my friends. I don't know how to bring this to your attention, but for the love of God, you just don't understand. Unbelievable. Somebody somewhere a long time ago said, say something. I don't know what. No, it's you. It's the internet. Say something. Anything? Anything. Yeah, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Even better. Yeah, but I'm not sure about the difference between capitalism and communism or social. Doesn't matter. Say something. No, but you don't understand. I don't. See, I don't understand this. Go ahead. But the other day, somebody had on Brian Kilmeade on my YouTube rotation. He kept saying pseudonym. What an idiot. What an idiot. I'm thinking Vivek Ramaswamy. This guy's coming across like a class A-hole and a bully against Nikki Haley. And you like that? I don't understand this. There is no Republican leadership. None. The only person, listen to what I'm saying. The only person is Donald Trump. It's horrible. Years ago, when somebody had a fever that was going to break them, a fever that would crush them. You know what they would do? Fill up a tub full of ice, throw them in. It was brutal. Do you know how horrible that is? It's tough enough when you're normal, but when you've got 106 fever and they throw you into this thing, well, first of all, you're in a coma anyway. That's Trump. He's that ice bath. You know, if you take chemotherapy now and you're not getting, it'll kill you. It risks killing you. Radiation, just beam radiation at some organ, it'll kill you. But if you've got cancer, it'll save your life. See how that works? See how that works? They don't get this, do they? My best is fecal transplantation. This is the greatest thing I've ever been around since the Chinese 2000. I don't know how many years ago. Older people, some people have C. diff, some have had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, all kinds of ileitis, colitis, all kinds of. It's a terrible, terrible. If any of you have it, my absolute feelings of complete and total sympathy go to you. But C. diff, just, oh my God, diarrhea, just people were just, their gut flora, gut biota, just shot. So somebody said, let's find somebody who has good gut flora. Take their feces, actually, take it, kind of purify. There's some kind of not distillation, but some kind of process, preparation. Put it in a blender or something, and then introduce it. Sometimes you can do it in a pill, but introduce it through basically a colonoscope. Up, deep enough. Inject it, put it into it, and let it mix with this other unstable flora. And before you know it, it's balanced. And not only did it remove these horrible lower GI problems, but it actually was believed to have had a tremendous effect in terms of alcoholism, bipolar disorder. Seriously. And because you mentioned poop in this country, people go crazy because they have the intelligence and the emotional continuity of a 3-year-old. They miss the point. It's one of the most brilliant things anybody's ever imagined. That's what Trump is. Trump is a fecal transplant. It's brutal. The idea is that what? He's desperately needed. He's good poop in this system of ours that's just shot. Now, you wouldn't do this in a healthy person. You wouldn't have to do this in a healthy person. You wouldn't want to do this in a healthy person. You don't have to do this in a healthy person. Okay, you got it? But I am telling you right now, that's what Donald Trump is. Like it or not. And it's going to be a bumpy ride. And you're not going to like it. Just like nobody wants some 10-foot tube shoved up their arse. Okay, and use some basting tube to reintroduce somebody's blah, okay? But it saves their life. Ladies and gentlemen, Sparky says, Yuk. Is that Yugoslavian or that looks like Slavic? Yuk. Yuck, I believe, is Y-U-C-K. I don't know, but it could be Yuk. Maybe an umlaut. Thank you. You see how you did this? Yuck. You think that's interesting? Talk to somebody, by the way, Sparky. Anybody here have irritable bowel? Just time out. Anybody have colitis, ileitis, irritable bowel syndrome, C. diff? Anybody see through the? Anybody knows diverticulitis, diverticulosis? Anybody knows what that deep, painful, horrible? I mean, just paralyzing. The people who can't leave, who are so afraid of an attack. Ooh, yucky. Who have a poop attack. Oh my God. Yes, they live in horror. Anybody have an idea what's going on with that? Anybody seen this? Anybody? You ever seen this before? It's horrible. Anybody? And by the way, picture of health. There are people who could outrun you, who are younger than you, who will probably live longer than you. Great shape, great whatever, and it's a living hell. Look at this, missing half my colon and rectum due to colorectal cancer. You know, Ryan O'Neal died. Remember when, who was it? Farrah Fawcett died of anal? Was it anal or rectum? I mean, something nobody heard of. Anybody? Let me tell you something. You will not think that's funny if that's you. You will not think that's funny if it is you. And when you see someone you love die, Sparky, correction, yuck. Thank you, Spark. See, this is the part, this is where we can't even talk about colon health without the child in us coming out. Think about what I'm saying. People are dying. When it never ceases to amaze me. If ever, the colonoscopy, I think is the greatest thing in the world. One time I did a television commentary, and I said, you could talk about all this thing, all the computers and go to the moon. I said, but to me, one of the greatest, I didn't say it like this. I said, but in essence, what I said was, so one of the greatest things of all time was whoever was a genius who figured out how to basically stick a camera up your ass and take a picture of your colon and save more lives. The people say, oh, that's a polyp. That's a precancer. That's it. Son of a gun. Lasso that baby and get it out. We just saved this man's life or woman's life. We would have never seen this. This would have never been. This is asymptomatic until it's too late. This saves lives. But, ooh, talk about the prep. Ooh, that's the way we think. And if ever we could do something for pancreatic cancer, that would be even, that's another one. Because that's weird. And the pancreas, once you see the symptoms, it's, see, this is the part that this is why we'll never understand Israel. Because we don't even understand the body. We don't even understand any of this stuff. We have the mentality and we love to see who can be more offended than somebody else. Ooh, wait a minute, let me try it. Ooh, oh, that's good. I'll beat you both. Ooh, that's good. I was offended the most, so I win. Because in this little world we live in, ooh, Israel, ooh, Palestine, ooh, Trump, ooh. That's it. We are children, stupid, slow children with learning is the dysfunction and detached. We are weird, isolated children with the strangest sense of not morality, but what's important and what's not. It's incredible. We are so doomed. And the best part is the Republicans are the worst, and they think they're better. Let me ask you about this. And I love this. Bill Gates is basically telling, I'm going to own all the food. I'm going to own all the farms. I'm going to own everything here. World Economic Forum is saying we're going to stop everything because we're going to slow everything down because of carbon or whatever it is, and nitrogen, and we're going to kill fertilizer. Remember that one? Was it one country? Anyway, you're going to see a food crisis. We're telling you this. What did we say? No, we're not. Look, one guy, I never forget one guy said, I got a fishing pole. Well, I've got a nice. This guy sent me a picture of his cupboard. Good for a week. I said, how about 90 days? Do you have 90 days of food? 90 days? And do you have enough so that your kids won't go crazy? Not the same thing. Come on, eat some more banana chips. Eat some more jerky. Eat some more. You want some more pasta? No, I'm going crazy here. Shut up. And whenever you tell them, they kind of go, ew. They do that to you. They say, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear this. Well, you're going to hear this. Patriot, the world at every level and facet is in peril. Everything has changed. The Great Reset is here. Just look around you. You must become more self-reliant and sufficient and secure the future for your family. Act today with My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the country's largest preparedness company, and it's more than equipped to stock your shelf. Their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit provides delicious breakfast, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. And right now, listen carefully, it's $200 off. That's right. Get over 2,000 calories every day. Just add water and heat, then eat. Make sure every member of your family has a 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go right now to my special website at preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com for $200 in savings. Be sure to order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. It's best to have emergency food and not need it than to need it and not have it. Take $200 off right now at preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. Write this down, commit it to memory. Preparewithlionel.com. The dumbest people I've ever met in my life are Republicans. Let me tell you why. They think they're smart. There is nothing worse than somebody who thinks they're smarter than you. And I've seen this my whole life. I've never seen it never ceases to amaze me. These people think they're smarter than you. They think that somehow they're imbued with some, I don't know what the word is. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. Believe me when I tell you this, I know these people. They think they're superior. They think they're more patriotic than you. They think they're smarter than you. They think that they are more, I don't know what the word is. They just think they are better. They think they're better. They think they're wiser. They think a lot of stuff. And the best part about it, they're not. They're not even remotely near it. And yet, they harbor and labor, I should say, under this delusion. And I have no time for them at all. It's the most amazing thing. I have no time for them. I'm losing my country. I don't know where to go. I'm losing my country. I'm seeing it. I'm losing everything. The government, the foundations, the rudiments, the ABCDarian, the fundamental aspects of what this country is. I see levels. I'm standing on a mountain and I'm looking at the enemy advance, and I see them coming at me at levels I never even thought possible. Sparky says right now, he says, seems counterintuitive to many, but going to a meat-only diet can get someone off the vicious cycle of IBS or colitis. Fiber can be rough. I have no idea if that's even true. Fiber? Okay. Let me see something. Gregor. Yes. Let's look at this. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to change subjects just because you're saying it seems counterintuitive, because it is, and you're wrong. Irritable bowel syndrome is a chronic episodic intestinal disorder characterized by abdominal pain and altered bowel habits. It affects 1 in 7 Americans. Although most go undiagnosed, IBS can have a substantial impact on well-being and health, but doctors underestimate the impact the disease can have, particularly the pain and discomfort. IBS is thought to be caused by a hypersensitivity of the lining of the colon. If you suffer from chronic irritable bowel type symptoms such as bloating, abdominal pain, and changes in bowel habits, ask your doctor about getting a formal evaluation for celiac disease. If you have celiac, then go on a strict gluten-free diet. If you do not have the disease, the current recommendation is to first try a healthier diet, including more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and beans, while avoiding processed foods. The reason people may feel better on a gluten-free diet and therefore conclude that they may have a problem with gluten is because they've stopped eating so much fast food and other processed food. If you eat a deep-fried Twinkie and your stomach aches, it may not be the gluten. If a more healthful diet isn't helping, you can rule out gastrointestinal stress, blah, 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 blah. Now, a number of plant foods such as peppermint or kiwi, ginger, cayenne pepper can be found effective. Now, let's go through this. Cayenne pepper, fasting for irritable bowel syndrome, ginger, kiwi fruit, peppermint oil. This is ultra-processed junk food put to the test. Prunes, a national, oh, you're going to laugh at this one. Prunes, a natural remedy for constipation. Fasting, fiber versus low FODM. You're going to love this one. A world's largest fasting study. By the way, this is for you, Sparky. You're going to love this. This is SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. Now, when I tell you this, I just read to you one scintilla, one fraction, one microdose of all of the available data available on the benefits of plant-based diets on IBS. Yet you believed that because meat doesn't have roughage or fiber, that it's the fiber that somehow causes the inflammation of the lining of the lumen, if you will, of this. Because in your mind, you imagine like sandpaper going through the bowel tract, scraping and all this green stuff, which by the time it gets there, it's anyway, but this, not to mention the tremendous amount of benefits that fiber has in relieving pain. But that's okay. But in your mind, you said, no, meat, because it doesn't have fiber, is smoother. And therefore, no. You just created this in your mind. Meat-only diet is not a cure, just a workaround. No. That's somebody saying like, that seems like, no. People would say, oh my God. And this is not just, it seems like it would be, wouldn't it? It's like, well, sort of. No. No. That's like people would say, sometimes smoking, there are benefits of smoking. That when people smoke, sometimes they're calmer. You feel better. Have a drink. I feel better. I really feel better. Have a cigarette. I feel great. This is terrific. I was going to kill I'm happy. I'm laughing, listening to music, having a drink, smoking a cigarette. I feel great. Wouldn't that be, well, you should do it again. No, sometimes things seem okay. No, absolutely not. I was trying to explain fasting. I have a friend of mine who eats like the clock. What time is it? I haven't eaten. I had lunch today at 11 o'clock at my desk. It's 7:30. That's 8.5 hours I haven't eaten. Wait a minute. Don't you understand it? They have this idea that you got to eat because in their mind they're saying, well, if you don't eat, and they create this thing, well, if you don't eat, blood sugar, I like that one, blood sugar drops, and what else? And no, because you're using this kind of like a Disney way of looking at things. No, it's called hormesis. What? Your body is benefiting from the stress that you're putting on your body by not eating. It's called intermittent fasting. It's life-changing, but it doesn't, especially to somebody who's hungry, it seems counterproductive. Pickled vegetables are easy to digest. I'm going to quote you on that, my friend. By the way, you know what else is wonderful? Anything involving miso, fermented for gut health, wonderful. Sauerkraut, wonderful for gut health. Intermittent fasting, when I say almost, I'm saying 99% of my time. There's an exception. But I feel the best when I do one of two things. Get up early, have a kind of a oatmeal thing in the morning then have lunch and be done eating by 10:30, 11 tops. 11 tops. That's it. Done at 11. Don't eat till the next morning. That's it. I told somebody that and they said, what? It's an 18-6. It's not even intermittent fasting. Some people do all that. Ron Paul, remember him? He hardly ate anything. People eat. You don't need to eat that much. What? You don't need to eat too much. You eat too. You don't need any of that. Any of it. When you tell people that, they say, what, are you crazy? No. A cigarette can stop an asthma attack. I'm sure it was. One time, believe it or not, Sparky, there was something that said that women who smoked had lower ovarian cancer. Or there was some benefit. They said, no, don't do this. But I asked a question one time. Are you ready for this? And I was dead serious, and they got mad at me, very mad at me. But I was asking a very simple question. Number one is, have you ever seen, and I don't know this, the sampling. In fact, I'm going to see this. I'm going to write this down first. Wow. Now, this is something years ago, this was very interesting. I thought this was very interesting. You're going to love this one. I had a thing one time that I said, I was wondering, and this is Sparky. I just checked this to verify. I hope the data didn't change. But I one time said, I wouldn't be surprised if there were, no, I said, I have not seen, it was one of the dumbest things I ever said. I've never seen psychotic or heard about people with Down syndrome with psychosis. People who are psychotic, people who are schizophrenic, who had Down syndrome. That may be Down syndrome, trisomy 21, could be whatever. I read the data. In contrast to previous literature, those with Down syndrome versus other forms had significantly higher rates of psychosis, not otherwise specified, or depression with psychotic features. I thought it was the opposite. One time I made the observation, I said, are there higher rates of twins in non-African Americans? I don't know why. I thought from my observation. One time we were sitting, in fact, one of our participants was sitting with my old news guy. We were at the garden. I'm looking around. It was lucha libre, Mexican wrestling. And I looked around. It was Mexican, packed. We were at the garden in the theater part of it, packed. And I looked around. And I turned to my friend and I said, there's not a bald-headed Mexican here. There's not a bald-headed, I don't see one. I've never seen anything like this. And he said, and I'm thinking, maybe there's something to this. Now, is that true? I don't know. But it's a generalized observation. I normally am right until I investigate it. Hot Pocket says, in animal studies, a 30% reduction in calories led to at least 30% increase in lifespan. Oh, yes, my friend. Do you know? I thought that was one of those. Do you know, Hot Pocket, that is called hormesis? Have you heard what this is? Hormesis. Let me see if I can explain this to you. Hormesis. The beneficial effects of stress. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Hormesis is the idea that the short, intermittent bursts of certain stressors can start a cascade of cellular processes that slow aging, improve overall health, and make you more resilient, both physically and mentally. It is a hot topic and a hot pocket in research. And there are things, for example, HIT, high intensity training, do a HIIT workout 1 to 3 times a week. Hot or cold therapy. Infrared sauna is a great way to heat up and sweat. That's one of the best. Intermittent fasting. This is from the Carolina Test Wellness. Now, if you told this friend of mine in particular, this slob, she would say, oh no. It's like nonsense. People don't like to hear news that is contrary to what they believe in. And then the most important part is this. I don't want to necessarily look at longevity in terms of life. I want to have some relative degree of mental acuity. I don't want to be walking around, hey, it looks great, but he's yelling, who ordered the veal cutlet? Do you know that of all of my friends, people in my age group, people in my friends of mine who are my age, there is not, I'm trying to think, maybe, and I say, and you're going to ask, well, how many is that? I don't know. Maybe 1, 3 who aren't fat. Because when you get to a certain age, you know how to 60. Well, I'm 60. What are you going to do? I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I used to run. I used to play. And then they just turn into a couch. I don't know why that is. It's the dumbest thing. You have to work in reverse. If you want to live a profligate, terrible lifestyle, do it when you're young. Your body can take it. Later on, live like a monk because you can't take this. Your metabolism is dropped to nothing. You have the metabolism of a hibernating bear. It's stopped. You do it in reverse. Now is when you diet. Now is when you do it. Now is when you move around and exercise. More important than anything else. But it's weird. We all, you don't realize this. People march off to die. I've got friends of mine who are dying. And they're all retiring this year. We're all 65. What's the matter with you? And when I say retire, I don't mean, well, great. Now I stop this job and I'm going to now volunteer or I'm going to do this. I'm going to be active. They're not saying that. Their whole thing is, it's over. I'm done. I'm going to travel. And when you hear that, it's like, oh no. Because that kind of slows down. And then they're not active. When people go to work every day, you don't realize this. You're actively thinking about something. You've got problems. You've got people to deal with. You've got a schedule. You got a lot of stuff. You got things that are challenging. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. It's done. And you just turn into this couch. I've seen this. It's the dumbest thing. You should be. One of my favorites is a friend of mine who was a great lawyer. Graduated, retired. He went back went to college. He got another degree. He's in classes with young people. He said, I'm starting from scratch. Yeah, he had a B, whatever. But he's like going into, and he's hanging around college kids and they're looking at him. He says, it's the greatest thing in the world. He says, when you hang around old people all the time or Republicans, it will kill you. That's why grandparents hanging around with kids, very smart. Sparky says, not my imagination. Vegetables can cause the pancreas to over-secrete digestive enzymes while irritate lower GI tract before vegetables leave the stomach. Fiber doesn't necessarily directly irritate. The pancreas secretes insulin. You have pancreatic enzymes. These juices travel through your pancreas via ducts. They empty into the upper. Each day, your pancreas makes about 8 ounces of digestive juice filled with enzymes. That's nice. Well, there you go. I learned that. Thank you. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? You always learn. My friends, speaking of learning something, I want you to listen to this because you know what's happening right now. In 16 days, you know what's around the corner. And what will you give as a gift? I've got an idea. Let me tell you about my great friends at MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets, MyPillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grad. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG, and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. That's right, my friends. Well, anyway, what a day. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I hope you heard me last night. I hope you got what I was saying regarding the whole notion of Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is a big joke because Hunter Biden is merely charged with tax evasion, but not where the money came from in the first place. Does that make sense to you? You got that? You got that? Somebody talk about CBD oil. CBD is something which unfortunately has been hijacked by the stoners, and cannabis, cannabinoids, and the like will have proved to be absolutely critical in affecting spastic disorders, children, and the like, hallucinogenics, certain psychotropics, certain psychoactive drugs, absolutely affecting and opening up the mind. The problem is you have to get somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. There's a level of spirituality. There is something which is important. Spirituality, the belief of it, the mind part of the mind-body connection, absolutely critical. Good luck trying to explain that one to people. Okay. There is the somatic corporeal body, and then there is the mental and the spiritual. And the idea is to blend them. And there are also people who walk around constantly miserable, and that affects them. It affects their life. It affects their body. It affects everything. There's something about this balance of the two. And if you can figure out how to fix that, you let me know, my friends. So Sparky, thank you, my dear friend. You're the best. Barry Taylor, thank you. Let me see. Yep. And also, folks, do me a favor. Try your best to get over your poop fixation. I know it's fun to say yuck and ooh, poo poo and all that, but I mean, yeah, I think you're old enough now. You've got to recognize these truths. Now, there is something that happened yesterday, a very, very critical story, and I want you to be aware of this. Mrs. L did one of the most important pieces ever on Meta's end-to-end encryption. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Are you following? No, you don't. This is what is not being talked about. And there's the link, and I want you to go to it right now, and I want you to subscribe to her channel. You got a bunch of these well, I don't want to call them, but a lot of these ladies who said, I'm into human trafficking, y'all. Okay, great. That's great. Got to stop them pedos. Okay, fine. Thank you. But what's important is right now is the ability for the police and law enforcement to go in and to capture evidence of child predation and human trafficking has now been affected by end-to-end encryption. Watch Mrs. L's incredibly important piece. Watch this and send it to others. This is the subject matter that needs to be discussed. Our good friend Sparky says, I believe that different age ranges require different diets. Being a vegan in middle age can get one past the time when they might be vulnerable to a heart attack, for instance. Well, I never use the word vegan. I hate the word vegan. Never use it. Plant-based. If you go to the Okinawans and you can look at their plant-based world, they live to be the longest of anybody, and they do this throughout their entire life. There are some parts of rural China where there has never been a case of breast cancer. Edie Crowley says, I have a friend who is smoking medical marijuana regularly. Big personality change. Scary. Oh, yes. Well, it's not harmless, Edie. Not harmless at all. If you can, huh? SantaCon. All the news does is talk about SantaCon. When's SantaCon? Today. Oh, today's SantaCon. Who cares? Rat's ass. Because the news sucks. Remember, I hate people. And what party am I in? The opposition. Remember that. If anybody asks you, the opposition. the opposition party. Okay. We always talk about, and I want you also, do me a favor, watch the Alex Jones interview with Tucker. Tucker is great because Tucker gets out of the way. Let Alex speak, which is very good. Something that Sean Hannity could never do. Sean Hannity always wants to tell you, I know more than these people. My introductory question is longer than my guess. Watch Alex Jones. Listen to what he says. I predict a redemption. He needs a makeover, a drastic makeover. Bring me back the Alex Jones of 2000, 2001. And before that, he was transformational. You understand that? Ooh, look at this. Also, subscribe to Forks Over Knives. Ooh, look at this one. Winter baking, fruit-filled recipes to warm and delight. Look at this. Look at this, honey. This is great. Persimmon cake with pistachios. Apple maple cinnamon rolls. Cranberry carrot cake with chocolate ganache. Apple pie bars. Polenta cake with apples and cherry compote. Forks Over Knives, all plant-based. All plant-based. No milk, no butter, no eggs. And if you're even better, no oil. Lay off the oil. You don't need it. Sparky says a person in their 90s might include more meat because of its higher nutrition density to offset their less effective digestive systems. Whatever you say, Sparky, whatever you say, brother, you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. Okay? And I mean that. And I thank you for that. Thank you. You cannot believe the food, the great, great, great stuff that is available. There are so many YouTube. I hate vegan. I hate that word, but there are plant-based that is just so incredible. Absolutely. I saw, Cooks, by the way, Cooks Illustrated. There is a guy. His name is, I got to give you his name. There are so many, I love, is it Dan? Yeah, Dan Souza. His name is Dan. What's Eating Dan? I think it's called, or something like that. In any event, he does this thing, I think that's his name. Hang on a minute. Dan Souza. I think that's it. Yep. He does this thing. And you got to watch him talk like this. No, it's his. I don't know, but he does the thing like that. And he says, so a lot of people wonder about the fact that it's like if you had a pipe. And he does something on kale. How you have to bruise and massage kale to break. It's one of the most fascinating things ever about why. There's this one, her name is Lamb or something. She talks about how to make, if you're like into steak, myosin levels. It's brilliant. But it sounds like this. And he does something on kale. It's fantastic. You ever had kale chips? Did you ever take chickpeas and put them in a broiler? You ever have those crispy chickpeas for salads instead of croutons? Crouton. It's incredible. It's easy. Changes your life. You don't need one shred of meat in your life. There is nothing that is in meat that you can't get elsewhere. And there's a lot that's in meat that you don't want. But it's a free country. You do whatever you want. Eat up. I love meat. I'm a carnivore by nature. I am a carnivore. Believe me. Barbecue. But heroin addicts love heroin. All right, my friends, we'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Don't ever change me that sincerely. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta.